We all like to think we're in the driver's seat when it comes to our money, that we're making these smart, logical choices. But what if I told you our brains are kind of hardwired with these glitches that can cost us a fortune? Today, we're diving into the hidden psychology behind our financial decisions and why, in this new world of social media and one-click trading, understanding your own mind is probably the most valuable asset you'll ever have.
This quote right here, this was the battle cry. It came from a community of everyday investors on a Reddit forum called Wall Street Bets. And wow, does it perfectly capture the spirit of this financial rebellion that just shook Wall Street to its core back in early 2021. It's the perfect setup for everything we're about to unpack, how raw human emotion can literally rewrite the rules of the market. And that word, irrationality, that's the key. The biases in our brains, they're not new. They've been with us forever. But the world we invest in? Oh, that has changed dramatically. This new environment has laid out a whole new set of financial traps, putting our ancient brains on a collision course with modern tech. And honestly, it's making us more vulnerable than ever before.
Now, there's a field that studies all this. It's called behavioral finance. Sounds a little academic, right? But forget the fancy term. All it really means is the psychology of money. It basically throws out that old idea that we're all these perfect, rational economic robots. Instead, it says, no, we're normal investors, and that means we're driven by stuff like fear, greed, and that powerful urge to just follow the crowd.
Just look at this contrast. It really gets to the heart of the problem. Not that long ago, investing was slow. It was deliberate. You had to physically call a broker. You had to pay a fee. You might, read a newspaper. There was some healthy friction built into the process. But today, it's instant. It's zero commissions, one-click trading on your phone, and your main source of research is probably a viral video you just saw. This frictionless world has basically supercharged our worst impulses.
And I'm telling you, there is no better example of these impulses getting supercharged than the GameStop saga. This isn't just some crazy story about a video game store. No, this is a masterclass in how modern tech and our own psychology can come together to create a market frenzy unlike anything we have ever seen. Just look at this timeline. It's wild. At the start of January 2021, GameStop is this forgotten stock, trading at about $18. But then, users on Reddit noticed that some big hedge funds are betting big money that it's going to fail. And within weeks, the price just explodes from 18 to 76, then bam, 347, peaking at an absolutely insane high of $483. The speed of this was just breathtaking, and it was all fueled by a digital mob. But here's the thing you really need to get. This was never just about the stock. It was driven by a story, a really powerful, emotional story of David versus Goliath. It was about everyday people bonding together to take on the Wall Street giants that they blamed for past financial crises. That story, that was the emotional fuel that turned a trading idea into a full-blown cultural movement.
So how'd they actually do it, technically? Well, the weapon they used was something called a short squeeze. Now, in simple terms, these hedge funds were betting the stock would go down. So when all these retail investors organized to drive the price up instead, those funds were forced to buy shares to stop their massive losses. And all that forced buying, it just poured gasoline on the fire, pushing the price even higher. It created this crazy, powerful feedback loop. And that feedback loop wasn't just technical, it was deeply psychological. It was powered by our first big behavioral bias, herd mentality. This is that deep-seated instinct we all have to follow and copy what a big group is doing. On Reddit, you had millions of people coordinating their buying, all believing there's safety and, wisdom in numbers. They formed this massive digital herd, all charging in the exact same direction.
And then, oh boy, then came the second wave, powered by an even more potent emotion, FOMO, the fear of missing out. As the story hit the news and people started seeing screenshots of these unbelievable profits, this intense anxiety spread like wildfire. Everyone else is getting rich and I'm being left behind. That feeling drove a huge number of new buyers into the stock, often at the absolute worst possible time, right at the very peak. And the impact was just staggering. This number, $6.8 billion, that was the loss that just one hedge fund, Melvin Capital, took in January alone. It just shows you the incredible power this digital herd could have, but it also hints at the incredible risk for anyone who got swept up in that stampede a little too late. You see, the GameStop saga wasn't some freak accident. It was the product of a system that's perfectly designed to create these events over and over again, a system I like to call the amplification loop. This cycle is happening all the time. It starts with a stimulus on social media, a trending stock, a viral video that triggers your FOMO. Step 2, you open your trading app, which is designed like a game, and you make an instant, frictionless trade. Step 3, the app rewards you with a little dopamine hit, like a burst of digital confetti, which reinforces what you just did. And then finally, you go right back to the social media echo chamber to get validation for your decision. It's a powerful, self-perpetuating loop. And here's the most important thing to understand, the cold, hard truth. This entire loop isn't designed for your financial success. Social media platforms, they're designed to maximize your engagement. Commission-free trading apps, they make money when you trade more often. Their business models are often fundamentally at odds with a patient, long-term investment strategy. Okay, so that's the problem. It sounds a little intimidating, right? But here's the good news. You are not powerless here. You can absolutely protect yourself from these traps. It's all about building your own behavioral armor. The single best defense you have is a plan. A simple, well-defined plan that you create when you're calm and rational. This plan becomes your anchor. So when the emotional storm of a market frenzy hits, you don't have to think. You just have to follow the rules that you already set for yourself.
So what does a good foundation look like? Well, the first step is to reduce the emotional pressure to chase these risky bets in the first place. That's why financial planners agree on 2 non-negotiable first steps. Number 1, build an emergency fund. Get some cash set aside to cover a few months of expenses. And number 2, pay off high-interest debt, like your credit cards. Doing these 2 things first takes away the desperation that can fuel really bad emotional decisions.
And once that foundation is in place, you can use these simple little tricks to create some of that healthy friction we talked about. You hear a hot stock tip? Great. Give yourself a mandatory 7-day cooling off period before you do anything. Actively look for arguments against your idea, not just for it. And always, always ask, why is this person telling me this? What's their incentive? And maybe the most powerful tool of all, just automate your investments. Set it and forget it. You'll bypass these emotional triggers entirely. This quote really says it all. The new game of investing isn't about being the fastest trader or the most aggressive one. It's about self-awareness. Success is going to belong to the people who can master their own psychology in the face of all these powerful new digital forces. So, I'll just leave you with this final question. In this new world of investing, we often think the battle is us against the market. But after everything we've just talked about, what if the real opponent, the one that truly determines if you win or lose, is staring back at you in the mirror? Are you really battling the market? Or are you just battling yourself?
I hope you got a ton of value from that. Now, to take your learning one step further, I've put everything into a mind map and an audio podcast for you. Perfect for listening on the go. Just check the description for the links. And hey, if you love this kind of content, join the community and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.